In this video, I'll be going over 2 of my League Cup runs with BuzzRoc GX, the same 60 at both, so here we go. Hey, this is Seagrove, and if you're new to the channel and are interested in growing and succeeding in the Pokemon TCG, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we will help you get there. We bring in some of the best players in the world to make sure that you guys can improve your game. So let's get into it. My first League Cup was in Firefly in Columbia, South Carolina. I played with 57 other masters, or 58 of us, and we knew going in, because there were 58, that a lot of X11s would bubble, in this case 411s, because we were so close to the next level. But yeah, so I went in knowing that round 1 I played against Zoropod, against a really cool guy. I played against him before, and he dead drew round 1, or we dead drew, and I was able to run over him sort of with BuzzRoc, as it tends to. Game 2 I dead drew and he destroyed me, and then game 3 we had a real game and I was able to come out on top. That was these best of 3 was for fun, but we were able to finish it in 30 minutes, which was pretty cool. So then round 2 I played against a very new player. It was his first real tournament. He was playing Malamar with Niligo and Dawn Wings Necrozma. So I was able to beat him as well, just more experienced, but I'm sure he will continue to grow in the game. So round 3, I played against the Mirror, against a guy named Travis. He's a new master, pretty good player. He actually, interestingly, went for the BuzzRoc GX route, while I stuck with the Baby Buzz route. And so at first, I felt pretty confident just because he pulled out the BuzzRoc off of a Brooklet Hill, but he used it really well. So the reason I don't like it is because, especially I had already taken a single prize, so when he brought out that BuzzRoc GX, I felt pretty good about my chances of keeping him from that Sledgehammer for 120 turn. But he was able to use Jet Punch to keep me from the Sledgehammer for 120 turn as well. He took a prize, and he took 2 in the same turn with, he found a Guzma, and was able to do that. I still think the Baby Buzz is the way to go, but I definitely learned a bit from him in that game. When it came down to pretty much luck, I ended him to 1. He had to find a choice band. He did not find it. Luckily, he didn't have artillery. So at that point, so that was that. If you feel like you know how to play the BuzzRoc Mirror, if you should be going for the GX or the Baby, I'm actually very interested in that. You can message me on Facebook. You can comment down below, and I'm interested in hearing more about that. But I did explore it, and I feel a bit better about it now. So that was that. Actually, one more thing about that game that was pretty interesting. I misplayed on my first turn. So he went first, and he just had a Remoraid and a Diancie, and he passed. He attached to Remoraid and passed, and Remoraid was active. I had a choice between N and Sycamore. I definitely would have liked to N because I had a lot of great resources in my hand, but because he passed, I chose to Sycamore. Then I had a Brooklet Hill. I got a strong energy, but I had to play the Brooklet Hill and use it to grab Diancie so I could take the turn 1 knockout, knowing that that would give him access to a basic, and I chose to do it, and I ended up winning the game, which was cool. But looking back, I think that was a mistake because he did not retreat. If he had retreated, I would have felt fine about putting down the Brooklet Hill. Actually, then I wouldn't have, because I could have just hit for 50 and then 70 the next turn to knock out the Diancie. But the reason I chose, I think it was a mistake, because he didn't retreat. That tells me he doesn't have an artillery, so he didn't really have an out. I was thinking he might have artillery, and then he'd be able to draw out of this anyways, and I would regret not taking the knockout. But since he didn't retreat it, he didn't protect it, he wasn't valuing it, he probably did not have an out to artillery. Anyways, just some thoughts there. Then round 4, I played against Ryan Allred, who's a very good player. Unfortunately, I couldn't find ways to bring up what I needed to bring up. He was on Rayquaza, so I needed to have a big Jet Punch turn, and I was able to Sycamore, and I could have gotten the BuzzRoc, but there would have been no point because I had to Lycanroc. Unfortunately, I had prized both Lycanrocs. He probably would have beat me anyways. He's a better player than I am, but I think I'm now 1-3 against him. So I lost that. Then the next round I played against another friend, Ryan Manus from South Carolina. He played Gardevoir, and he got the turn 3 Bridget, so I was able to just, roll over him. If he had been able to do the same things he was able to do, but turn 1 instead of turn 3, he definitely may have won that. So that was that. Then I played in the next round against, actually my opponent came up to me. He's a really cool dude. He came up to me and he was like, hey, I want to ID. I said, you know that some people who ID won't make it in. And he said, yeah, I know, but I would like to just guarantee myself points. I said, okay, let me go look. So I looked at stuff, and all of my opponents had really good resistance except one. So we were giving me good resistance except for one. So I decided to ID because I really did want to make top 8 at least. And so, yeah, we ID'd, and I had 63% resistance, so I always have good resistance, rip NAIC. So anyways, I made top 8, and I made it in, and played round 1 against one of my best friends, Stephen Hunter, and he's a testing partner, and he actually was using the Gardevoir list I wrote about on Flipside from Cena, but we changed one card. We dropped a fairy back for the timer ball again, and that's sort of a flex spot. We're looking at some other options for that as well. But he, game 1, drew super hot and beat me. Game 2, I had to Ultra Ball turn 1 for a Lele, which I never feel good about. Unfortunately, the Lele was prized. So I decided to grab the Octillery for next turn, but it was also prized. So I just lost. Then that was that. But I felt good about it. I had early good luck, late bad luck, better than the other way around. So then I went to the next... then I went to the next tournament, and I was playing in Charlotte at Fodder Cannon, and I played the same exact deck. Round 1, I played against, I was coming from church, so I had my friend sign me in. I got there just in time, well, not just in time, about 5 minutes ahead of time, so that was cool. Round 1, I played against a guy from LA, super cool dude, and he was playing Zoroark Gardevoir. He didn't have the strongest start. I was able to just roll over him. He's a very good player, but he just didn't draw hot enough. Yeah, so then round 2, I played the Mirror, and I started BuzzRoc GX, so I was able to actually use, because even though I don't like BuzzRoc GX as a starter, I was able to use some of the methods that I had learned from Travis at the last round in our match. And my opponent benched a BuzzRoc GX late game when I don't think he should have. And he agreed. He actually mentioned it later. But that just gave me 2 free prizes, which I took with a Lycanroc and then was able to win the game. So that was that. Really cool dude as well. The next round, I played against Mike Morton. Super cool dude. I have a lot of respect for him, and we played on the stream. He donked me. I went first, or he won on turn 3. Guzma took a knockout with my Baby Buzz. I had only like 3 elixirs and an energy and something like that. So then I got another Guzma off my prizes, if I remember correctly. So I Guzma'd up a Trubbish, and since I wouldn't knock it out, I went ahead and hit it because I didn't want to knock it out and let him come up and finish me off. But he found the Psychic Energy and won the game. So I lost that. We played again for fun, and I don't know why. I didn't prioritize Lycanroc in that matchup, which is like how you win. But I don't know. Hopefully I'll remember how to play that in the World Championship if I do play this deck. The next match I played again against Zoroark Garbodor against another friend, Eddie Satavi, who is a very good player. He played it super well. Unfortunately, I had to Sycamore 4 items on my first turn, and it was an awkward game for me. He beat me, so I was 2-2 at this point, and I knew I had not the best chance of making it. We had 65 players, but one joined late, so we weren't sure if we were going to have 6 or 7 rounds. We ended up having 6, I believe. The next round was round 5, and it was the quickest game of Pokemon I've ever played in my life. I was playing against a Rayquaza. He started Pheromosa GX, and I started Remoraid. He went first, drew Attached Grass, and won the game. So I went home and played soccer with my kids, which was awesome. So I felt like I had good luck game day 1, bad luck day 2, but I did think about a possible change, but I don't know how that will end up, so I got to test it. I also tried some new decks off of this, and I haven't liked any of them. So we shall see. I'll probably end up playing a Zoroark variant or Buzzwole. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to find me at Worlds and hit me up if you're interested in a free GX marker, and also message me on Facebook if you want a mat. Thanks again, and peace out. Shout out to my Ultra Ball patrons Sarah Beckwith, John Gilliman, Paul Semenko, and Brian C. And huge shout out to my Master Ball patrons Pokestats, Impulse Gaming, Jeremy Owings, Caleb Vance, and Dan Nelson. And congrats Dan Nelson again for winning the last drawing. Shout out to all of my patrons, and of course to my viewers and subscribers like yourself. Thank you.